it's really going to confuse everybody because the intro song is going to play, and then it's just going to keep playing music. It's great.
Yeah.
It's also totally in the wrong key, but that's okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of An Interview with My Best Friend. I'm Hayden, your co-host, and today also as a co-host we have Josh.
I'm actually the host, and Hayden is my co-host, but that's semantics. We don't talk about that too often because he gets really mad about it.
That's my
water under the bridge.
Today, I'm always angry.
Of course. Today we have a spectacular guest, hailing from places unknown. It is Ash.
Hello, it's
the
me.
Void.
Hailing from the void is Ash.
Yes,
as you can so clearly see here as Ash Ketchum.
I do make my home in the void. It is true.
Especially it's a great place to make it's the housing is affordable.
The rent is spectacular.
The rent is spectacular. I nothing to complain about in the void, really.
Yeah, the lack of existence really cuts down on
the lack
costs.
Of existence really cuts out the middleman that is capitalism.
It really does. It really does.
Ash, what's your starter Pokemon right now?
My starter Pokemon?
Like today, right now. It's been a while since we've caught up with you. Right, just right now.
Any starter?
It's all you.
Any starter.
It's all you.
Like it doesn't even need to be an actual starter. It could just be any Pokemon.
Yeah, well, we haven't touched base with you in a couple seasons, so
okay.
We know you still have Pikachu, but
oh, I see. We're making a Pokemon joke.
Actually, Pikachu died in a horrific rollerblading accident.
I thought this was a serious question for me, a real life person, but I see it was just a cheap joke at my expense.
Speaking of horrific accidents of like childhood icon things, I recently learned that Big Bird was supposed to be on the Challenger shuttle.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. One,
they were going to put them. It was going to be the actor in the costume in just a really big spacesuit.
What is the Challenger shuttle? What is that?
Oh, that's the one that blew up.
Like back in the 80s?
Like Apollo 13? Is that that one?
Fun fact. My mom saw it firsthand explode because she lived in Florida when it happened.
God, that's horrifying.
So it was like one of those things where you're like walking around in Florida and you like just look up in the sky and you're like, oh,
explosion.
That's the Challenger. Whoops.
And Hayden, it was this shuttle that was taking up a bunch of there were like teachers and doctors and like there were a whole bunch of just normal people going up in that shuttle, and it exploded. And it was nationally televised and everything.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And Big Bird was supposed to be on that. So if anybody says that we live in the darkest timeline, they're wrong, because the darkest timeline is when everybody saw the childhood icon Big Bird explode on the Challenger shuttle.
That's dark.
That is dark. And what a great way to start our podcast.
It's just all the debris from the spacecraft, and then later all these Big yellow Bird. Feathers come floating down. Oh God.
Oof.
That's horrific.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
oh, man.
But Ash, what I guess we'll seriously ask this question now. What would be your starter Pokemon?
Man, if I could pick any of them, I think if I had to go with the actual starters, I'd go with the the frog one, the newest water
Brokey?
Frog one. Yeah, he turns into Greninja. Greninja's good.
Yeah,
I like Greninja. If I could choose any though,
I'm real partial to Piplup.
Piplup's pretty cool.
You did tweet that today. I knew you were gonna say that. If you could pick anyone though, you were saying.
I'm real partial to Reuniclus. So
yeah.
Solosis would be a good starter.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you're doing a Nuzlocke run, really high defense, so low chances of death.
I am doing a Nuzlocke run. It's not going well for me.
Get a Reuniclus.
I can't. It's Soul Silver. They don't exist.
F in the chat. My favorite is, and for as long as I can remember, has been Mudkip, who is the goat.
Mudkip's real good. I love Mudkip.
Mudkip, fucking.
There's just something about groundwater typing that's just appealing.
Bro, Swampert, that Pokemon fucks.
You know who's even better? Mega Swampert.
That's true.
Have you seen a picture of Mega Swampert, Hayden?
I have.
Oh, he's such a thick boy.
Bro, I just there are a few things that I wouldn't do for Mega Swampert.
He's a good lad.
So, okay, we started the podcast in a very dark place. Now we've gotten to a very horny place.
Well, no.
Well, we've hit 2 out of 3, so
I'm not saying that I want to have sex with Mega Swampert. That's not what I'm saying.
That's not what you're not saying.
I played the 5th. So, Ash, we have some questions here for you that we've prepared. Seamless transition. The first of which is, how long have you been playing bass?
Because for those who don't know, Ash plays a lot of instruments and actually remixed our intro song for this season.
He did.
He's a very good musician, man.
That's true. I did do that. It was very fun. Well, how long have I been playing? I think we're coming up on I think we're at a decade almost.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bass slapping.
I can no longer say that I haven't played for very long. That used to be the line in college because I hadn't played for very long, but now I can't say that anymor
Can we get a bass slap clap for Ash? It looks like this. For those audio listeners, I have raised my left hand so that the back of my hand is facing my face, and then I take my right hand and I slap the inside of my left hand with my right hand as if my left hand was a bass. Amazing. And that
I wish more audiences would do this at
not only for this
that's how they should applaud you.
Not only for this milestone accomplishment, Ash has been playing the bass for 10 years, but also because he made our intro song. Well, he remixed our intro song, which, I mean, I'm just going to give you credit that you made it because I made the first one on GarageBand in like 30 seconds. And I was like, Josh, what do you think of this? And he was like, yep, that's
pretty awesome.
Pretty epic.
That song, pretty epic.
So no, I mean, seriously, thank you so much for doing that.
You shouldn't sell yourself short. You came up with a good nugget of a tune there.
It's a good groundwork.
Yeah,
that'll just keep getting remixed and remixed and remixed.
Yeah, we can just remix it for next season.
Yeah, no, I was literally planning on asking you if every season we can remix a new song, and I'm just gonna keep paying you to do that.
Keep feeding you the money.
I like this idea.
So basically,
steady income every 6 months.
Perfect.
Yeah. This is just a PSA, really, because I want to, like, if you have friends that do art, fucking commission your friends. Always do that. Support your friends. So that's all. I'll get off my soapbox now.
That's a good soapbox to have. But in all honesty, like the you jest, Josh, about steady income every 6 months, but that's kind of the way. Yeah, that's kind of the way you got to do things when you're not working a normal job. So
yeah, when you're just like,
because if you get enough of once every 6 months, that starts to add up, and eventually it becomes like an actual amount of money that you can put towards food and rent. So that's the trick. You just got to find enough weird little tiny streams, and then they gather together and turn into a big river, and then you're like, okay, cool, I can live.
So do you ever have trouble like managing that? Because like, this is not on our question list. I just thought of it just now, but when you have all these little streams converging and it makes this river that is your life, do you ever like cross streams?
Don't cross it. If there's one thing I learned in Ghostbusters, you're not supposed to cross the stream.
Yeah. Like,
Well,
is that a lot for you to deal with, or like, how are you doing with that?
it
Also, like,
can
how
be.
does it work?
From a financial standpoint, it's never been too difficult for me. I am pretty organized when it comes to keeping track of things, and just in case the IRS listens to your podcast, I do pay all my taxes on all my income, unlike a lot of people I know. Which is like, I mean, if you're a musician, you got to like make it however you're going to make it. And if you're getting paid in cash, you can totally just pocket it, and no one can really prove that you didn't do that. So no talking down to the people who decide to do that, because we don't get paid enough. So
that's also true.
But
like, yeah, it's a shame. Artists, they really don't.
But yeah, no. So keeping track of like the amounts and stuff like that has always been pretty easy for me. And the only reason I am so militant about like paying everything is that like it's like there's a lot of things that require you to prove how much income you make. And if your sole source of income is from music and you're not reporting like the lion's share of it because it's in cash, like I'm going to look like I'm not making very much money. And then if I do need to get a loan or whatever, like I'm just going to get denied, because they're going to be like, well, you only make $3,000 a year. Right. Exactly. So I'd rather like eat the taxes as a small business independent contractor man than not be able to have the option to take out a loan or whatever I need to do should that happen.
Oh, you want a loan?
So,
you wouldn't be able to pay that back in 3,000 years, sir.
Exactly.
What do you think you're doing? Get out of here.
But from the artistic standpoint, sometimes it can be a lot. I just at this point I just kind of take it one step at a time, and if I start feeling a little bit stressed out, I know I've taken on a little too much, and then I just don't take on anything until I have at least removed a couple things from the to-do list,
Yeah.
And I mean, Google Calendar is really helpful, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Like, being able to look at everything spread out over the next like 6 months and be like, I should not say yes to anything in September or whenever, because I've already gotten
I've booked myself full already.
Right, exactly. So it's not too bad. You get used to it.
Cool.
So I know that you play the bass, and I think you play a couple other instruments. How many like instruments do you actually play?
Well, let's see. If I was gonna, I'm gonna be a little bit snotty here, I guess, and say like, I don't feel like I necessarily play more instruments than just the bass, because like I would never accept a gig on any of those other instruments.
That's fair.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
I think I only really play the bass.
Because I was gonna say, like, the little remix that you did for us had like all these kinds of instruments, and I was like, whoa, this is like a whole
look at all these bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's like
yeah. So I mean, like, I played the guitar for that, and I think I did an okay job of it. But like, I don't necessarily think I like play guitar, I just have it's the same thing with like keyboard. Like, I wouldn't ever want to like take a gig playing keys for like a live band. But for like recording and stuff, like, I can make my way around it. I know like most of my chords and most of my keys. And then
you have a better understanding of those things than Hayden and I do.
That's true.
Low bar to clear, but you clear it.
That's fair. And I mean, like, I have like a little drum set that I, dink around on once in a while. And like, because I've done that, I can like usually program drums that are not like too dumb.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I have this kalimba on my desk that I used in the intro.
You play the electric triangle.
I play the digital triangle. That's true. I did do that in the intro. Hopefully, I'm hoping in the next couple of months I'll be able to say that I actually do this. But I've been taking vocal lessons for like the past 3 months.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping to maybe make a debut singing at some point. We'll see.
I don't mean to toot my horn, but I would be unstoppable if I had vocal lessons.
Dude, you should take them.
You should take them.
But
yeah, you should.
I just need to find the time to.
Yeah.
I lead a busy life.
We should start a band.
Carrying a pharmacy on my back does that.
We should start a band. Can
you sing, Hayden?
I can. Asterisk. I'm not nearly as good as Josh, but I have.
Fun fact: Hayden learned how to sing in sophomore year of high school during rehearsals for Little Women. Actually, yeah, it was like during like dress rehearsal week. Me and our buddy Joseph would be back there like coaching him, like, okay, this is how you sing it. Like, sing it like this.
Yeah, I auditioned for. So my first play that I was in was Almost Maine. It was a straight play. It wasn't a musical. Then I made all those friends in the theater department, and then they were like, "Oh, you should be in Little Women." And I was like, "Oh, but I can't sing." They're like, "Oh, it's fine. Just audition anyway. See what happens." So I auditioned. Somehow, by the grace of God, I got in because, like I said, I had no training. I didn't know I could sing. Then everything that Josh said happened, and then I went on to then audition for Les Mis, and I sang Stars for my audition for Les Mis, and I made the director cry because she was like, "Oh my God, Hayden can sing. What the fuck is happening? This is so
amazing."
Crazy."
Tears of surprise.
And then I was in every musical since. So I would say I'm not meant to be like a front man, but I can do like blending pretty well. I was in jazz choir. I think that was my favorite choir that I was in.
He can harmonize for sure.
I can definitely harmonize. I definitely wouldn't say, like, I don't really like karaoke because I don't think that my voice sounds good just by itself. But if I'm like singing a song in the car, I will sound phenomenal.
We all sound phenomenal in the car.
That's true.
It's true.
No, Hayden will have a cowbell and a microphone that he harmonizes into.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the new age of the new age of barbershop right there.
There you go. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. A cowbell is probably about as much as I can handle. Because other than that, I don't trust my motor skills enough for anything more complicated than that.
Man, motor skills are funny. Weird fun tangent. Yes. I found out something. So I'm right-handed, but I play bass the normal way, which is, using the left hand for all the fingering. And so I've been lifting I've been lifting weights now for what, like 2.5 months, doing like pretty hardcore lifting stuff. Fairly regularly, and I have found out that my right arm is actually weaker than my left arm, and I think it's from playing too much bass,
slapping too much of that sweet stuff.
It's because I think it might be. I think it has to do with like all the fine motor control, because then all the small muscles are strong. So my left arm's maybe not necessarily more powerful, but it's just more stable. And so whenever I have to lift a thing, it's like the right arm is wimpy because it's not as stable as the left. But yeah, I was really surprised about that.
Strong.
Yeah. So
that's really interesting. I had no idea that was like a nuance that somebody could have with their muscles and stuff.
So if you're a bass player and you pick up weightlifting, let me know if you're message me on Instagram and let me know if you experience the same thing.
Ooh,
you're a bass
Instagram
player-
plug.
If you're a bass player and you're listening to this, make sure you also check out Ash, because he is also a bass player, and you'll get along swimmingly.
It's true.
Although I did think that all bass players knew each other, but I think I'm finding out that is not true now.
A lot of us know each other.
Okay, cool.
It's just because there's not a lot of us, and
He just sees someone in the
and,
street
like-
and he's like, I know you.
you joke, but I actually have had like I don't know. I mean, like, am I allowed to say where we are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've said
Okay,
it multiple times.
Yeah, cool. In Spokane, like Spokane is like little big town, you know, and so I've definitely had some things where it's like people are like, "Oh, you're Ash, you're that bass guy," and I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, and so like
I do not wish to be perceived.
Like the other day, I was out in Coeur d'Alene for a gig, and I ran over to Pita Pit to like grab the guys, you know, gyros, because we needed food while we were setting up. And the guy was like asking for initials for all the different, you know, like things, and I was like, okay, well, we'll do J for you know, and then we'll do F for that one. And then he was like, and then I was like, and A for the last one. And he was like, oh, right. Yeah, A for Ash. That makes sense. I should have remembered that. And I was like, I don't know you. And also, I am paying cash. So I have not shown you my identification or my payment cards. So you have no reason to know my name. I've never seen you before. Also, we're in Idaho right now instead of Washington.
Wow.
Who are you people? I'm just that Patrick meme.
Who are you people? I love it so much.
So yeah, I don't know. It's playing music in a small town is weird because, you know, people start to know who you are, and then you're like, "Ooh, I don't know you," but cool. I'm glad you like music.
That is super cool. If those people do play bass, where can they find you on Instagram?
I am Ash Mad Music.
There you go. We'll put it right there.
I'll put like some text right there. Boom.
Perfect.
And then I'll also be in the description of everything.
I love the editing power right now.
Right? It's just like we just manifest it. And Josh and Hayden take care of it in post. It's great.
Yep. Our editors, Josh and Hayden, they're great. We love you, boys. Thank you for everything that you do. So keeping in the same vein of music, I really want to ask this question because I love it when I get asked questions like this. So what's your favorite story from being on tour that you always want to tell, but you never get the chance to tell?
Oh, Hayden, you just opened a whole can of worms.
Good. Let's get it.
There's so many. Oh my God. That I never get to tell.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I think I've told most of them, to be completely honest.
I was about to say, knowing
Man.
Ash, I don't think there'd be many like stories that he wouldn't want to tell.
Yeah.
Or I guess, is there like a story you
There's
really
some
feel
good
like
ones.
telling right now?
Yeah.
So
okay, I think I got the one.
Suspense.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. All right. So I was on tour with this ska band several years ago, and it was their first tour, and their bass player I think didn't want to leave his job, so he decided not to go on the tour. And so they were friends with me from the college that we went to, and they called me up, and so I was like, sure, I'll go on tour, that sounds fun. And so we took off, and basically the plan was to do like this big loop around the US and come back, right? And so we started just like going down the West Coast, and we had this gig in this town. I think it was Medford, Oregon, really small, weird town in Oregon. And it was at It was at a Chinese restaurant called King Hua Buffet.
Okay.
And so our first impression, we like pull up in the van, and we get out because we're not sure where we want to load in, and the first thing that we see, we like walk up to the front door. They've got multiple like failed health inspection notices, like that they have to have posted, because if you fail the health inspection, you have to post it. So it's like a D-rated restaurant. They've failed multiple health inspections.
No.
And so we go inside, and we're there early because you always end up showing up like way early when you're traveling. So so they're like, oh, come in, like you can have food, blah blah blah, and we're like, okay, because we're on tour and we're not going to turn down free food because you got to be thrifty.
Yeah.
And so so we have some food from the buffet, and it's okay. And then we're like, okay, well, where are we setting up? And they're like, oh, come this way. And we go into like this back room, and there's like this big, nice kind of like, well, I shouldn't say nicer than the rest of the restaurant. There's like this big, like kind of like, it's like the room that you would rent out if you were doing a big party, right? It's got the big table, and there's all the chairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, oh, this isn't bad, And then they take us through this other door into the back of the restaurant, and there's like a bar with like a karaoke setup and slot machines, and there's like 3 like crusty or inland Oregon guys with beards who are like sitting around doing bar stuff,
Oh,
no. and we're like, okay,
what the fuck?
And so we start setting up and everything, and then the other band that we've been booked like with this other band that's also on tour but not with us. And basically, like, I think the thing is that they were coming home. Like, we were just setting out on our tour, and they were coming home to California, and they had just finished their tour. So this was like one of their last dates. And and so they show up, and it's a 3-piece. And so there's like, they've got this they're all singers, and they one of them plays bass, one of them plays guitar, and one of them does like percussion. They show up, they're super cool, super nice. We're all like hanging out, and they're going first, and they get up there, and like, they're amazing. Like, absolutely crush it. They do like Wolfpack covers, they do like Alan Stone covers, like they just completely destroy it, like 3-part harmonies, like everything is just on point. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like super hyped about them. And then we get up to play, and they're like, we're like ska banding in this like tiny little backroom bar, so it's like insane and way too loud. And they're like just hype about it, and they're hype on us, and we're hype on them. And then we get about halfway through the set, and our lead singer sprints off stage into the bathroom.
Oh no.
Like in the middle of a song, like just has to like, she dips out like mid-verse and just runs into the bathroom and just has to like start I think she just had to throw up, but like, so she just runs in there, and so we like, we're like, well, bass solo time, like, okay, we're gonna start improvising, everybody, let's just whatever. So we get, we like pass it around a little bit. There's like, we have a trumpet player and blah blah blah, so like everybody improvises a little bit, and then she like comes back out of the bathroom after a little bit, like gets back up and finishes the song, but she's like not looking great.
God.
And we finish up, and she's just like feeling like crap, like she has like totally got food poisoning from this like failed health inspection Chinese restaurant.
This D-level restaurant.
This D-level restaurant. And so we're like hanging out with this band, which is, if you want to check them out, King Taylor Project. They're from San Diego. They're super cool.
San Diego.
And so we're hanging out with them and chatting, and like our singer is just like sick. And then, so we did have a guy with us who was playing acoustic guitar, and so he was like our opener. and so he had been really sick that day, so we basically didn't have an opener. And the restaurant was like, hey, so because we booked you and this guy, but he didn't play, we're only going to pay you $100.
Oh.
So and we're like, but we like covered his time. Like, we just played longer.
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal? And like, and it's not like $100 was half of what we were getting paid. That's like a huge cut, especially because the band has like 6 people in it.
Yeah.
So
here,
so
everybody, have $15.
Yeah.
So
pass it all around.
so
Don't spend it in one place.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. So
Oh, no.
So we get the check. And we leave, and we talk with Josh and Sandy from King Taylor Project, and they're like, hey, come through San Diego, we'll get you a gig, like blah 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 blah. Cool, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then we head out, and we had this spot to sleep that night lined up for us from our drummer. I think it was our drummer's ex-girlfriend, who he was still on like decent terms with. And I might be wrong there, but I think that's what the situation was. So she was basically like, you can stay with this guy, he's cool. And we were like, okay. And so we drove like to this even smaller town in Oregon, and we followed the address, and it's like a trailer park. And we're like, okay, this is fine, like whatever. And we get there, and he's got like this big tarp, like awning that he has set up, and like this weird woodshed, and so I get out of the van, and this guy is like, hi, I'm Rafiki. Like like from Lion King, like his name was just Rafiki.
Okay.
All right.
I'm assuming not his real name, but whatever. And I start walking like towards the trailer, and he's got like this big log, and there's a hatchet stuck in it. And then on this like small little wooden table next to the hatchet log, there is like a murder mask. Like imagine the masks from like Slipknot, right? Like there's a mask sitting on this table, and I just immediately was like no one else remembers this or noticed it, but I immediately was like, nope, not sleeping in there. And I just like went back into the van, and I just like crawled into the like gear pile in the back, because I had a little like foam pad above the like it was like a submarine bunk. It's like like 8 inches that my sleeping bag sat in above all the gear. So I just like shoved myself up in there. I was like, I'm just gonna sleep in here.
Oh my god.
So Rafiki proceeds to stay up until like 6 a.m, scraping resin out of his pipe to smoke while talking about conspiracy theories, and then wakes everybody up at like 8 a.m. because he wants us to drive him to like his he had like a meeting with like Child Protective Services because they were going to take his kid away, and we were like, we haven't seen a kid, where is the kid? And so we fucking drive him to this appointment, and he goes into the office, and we're all sitting there like, what is happening? And he comes back out, and it turns out he had the day wrong, so they weren't even there. And so then we drive him back, and we drop him off, and we're like, okay, this is fine. Like, bye, Rafiki. Good luck with like CPA or whatever.
We'll always remember you.
And so we leave, and then like a day later, we find this binder in the van, and we open it up, and it's got his birth certificate, his kid's birth certificate, both their social security cards, like all of his tax information, like literally it's like the binder that all of his life is in. And so we immediately call him, and we're like, hey, we have this binder, how can we get it back to you? And then he immediately is like, oh my god, I sure hope you're good people, because my entire life is in your hands. And it's like, if we were going to like steal your identity, we wouldn't have called you.
What the fuck?
So we mail the binder back to him, and
oh my god.
and then we go, and we try to deposit the check from King Wa. And the lady from the restaurant had used whiteout to white out the original amount so that she could rewrite $100, because they were reducing our pay for not having our like opening act. And so obviously the bank wouldn't clear it because it has whiteout on it, because you're not supposed to do that. So we go to call them, and we realize that we don't have Tanya's phone. She forgot, because she had food poisoning. She forgot her phone at the restaurant.
Oh my God.
So we use someone else's phone to call that phone, and we get someone to pick up, and they're like, "Oh, who is this?" And we're like, "Hey, we're the band from blah 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 blah. Like, can you your check? Like, they wouldn't accept your check. Can you mail us a new one? Also, we need that phone. Can you mail us that phone? Here's where we're going to be in the next 5 days. Mail it to this address." So we think everything's fine. We show up at the address, no phone, no check. And we continue to harass Quinoa Restaurant for the next couple of weeks.
Oh my God.
Never got the phone back, never got paid for the gig.
Jesus. Oh my God.
That is fucking crazy.
Was the rest of the tour at least better than that first gig?
I mean, the thing is that it was constantly up and down, because there's always just wild, weird shit that happens, bad stuff that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you get good things. I still talk to Josh and Sandy. They came through Spokane a couple years ago on tour, and their bass player had to fly home early. So I finished the leg of the tour for them.
Oh, nice.
I got to play Seattle with them. That was really fun. And then they flew me down to Mexico to play this resort gig with them.
That's really sweet.
Down in Tecate, which is really cool. So I mean, I wouldn't want to trade in the Quinoa Restaurant experience, because I made really good friends from it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, and that's kind of how tour is. It's there's all this weird bad stuff that happens, but at the end of the day, usually you walk away with something worth keeping.
Yeah.
So
what did you find, Hayden?
I found the Quinoa Restaurant in Medford, Oregon on Apple. It has 2.5 stars.
That's too high.
Amazing.
Did the food at least taste good?
Did the food
Do you
taste
remember?
good?
I don't remember it. It wasn't bad.
Did give your singer food poisoning though, so
yeah.
Not a ringing endorsement.
Not a ringing endorsement. Definitely not.
And was the other guy sick before you got to that restaurant, or
before we got there?
Okay. So we can't blame the food on that one either.
No bicycles, no backpacks. That's one of the pictures that's on Yelp. Oh, nice. They have their menu on here. And they have a picture of their bar that says no fast tender, whatever that means. So what a
no
fine
bands.
Might as well say no bands. What a fine establishment. That's a fucking crazy story.
Yeah, there's
I hope you guys are good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were a lot of turns in there that I was just not ready for.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy 24 hours and beyond.
And beyond.
Wow. Now for a very super serious, ultra serious question for Ash.
Yeah.
Are you ready? I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
If you were a houseplant, what kind would you be?
Ooh, well, I don't know that many houseplants, but I have a peace lily. And it's pretty hard to kill. So I think I'm gonna go with that.
I think I would just be like a big bowl of succulents. Because those are really hard to kill too.
Yeah.
And I would be a big bowl. Just calling from personal experiences of me
bowl.
being a large boy.
A thick bowl.
A thick bowl, if you will.
But I think you would be you wouldn't be like a cactus, because those are pointy and ouchy.
No,
I think you'd be like a
succulent.
Yeah, I think you'd be like a smooth succulent, like one that you look at and maybe it's growing little hairs on it.
But I got all this facial hair, so I am kind of prickly and ouchy.
And You wanna cuddle it? Yeah, but you're not ouchy. You're just like prickly.
No, that's if I trim this down and then it's all prickly and like sandpapery.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, it's not good.
It has grown out a lot, actually. I just noticed.
It has, yeah.
That's good.
It's becoming a fine beard. I'll have to shave it. I'll have to at least trim it down before the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dependent on when this episode comes out. Who knows when this episode is coming out?
Let me see. 6,
Ash
7,
certainly doesn't.
8, 9, 10. I think this is 10 or 11. It'll come out mid-September.
Okay, yeah.
So it'll be before the wedding.
Before the wedding. Yeah. I think that I would be like one of those like relatively low maintenance, like not super low maintenance. And I want to be one of those house plants that's like the vines are like coming out of the pot and they're like draping down.
And
I have one of those.
I dangle like 5 feet or so, like from my pot.
From your pot, from your bowl, if you will.
Yes.
But I won't.
Good
I don't
choice,
know.
good choice.
I don't know jack shit about houseplants. I don't even
Except
know
that I like them.
Yeah, I don't even know what kind of houseplants I own. Actually,
why am I out of focus?
I know one of them. I own an aloe vera plant, which is also very hard to kill. But then the other one, I don't know what it is, but his name is Tim.
There are some who call him
Tim.
Yes, the very same. Named after the sorcerer, of course. And then my aloe vera plant, his name is Dave.
Tim and Dave.
Tim and Dave.
Nice.
I was out of focus. I'm sorry. I was trying to remedy that.
It's okay.
I don't know what it was focusing on.
What's your houseplant's name, Josh?
That I would be called?
No.
Or,
like, do you have houseplants?
Becca has cactus that she's growing. I don't know if she's named it. I haven't named it, but I'm going to name it right now. And it'll be Sokka because cactus juice.
Good choice.
I love it.
Solid.
I feel like or should it be Momo? No, it's Sokka.
Ash, what are the names of your plant babies?
I actually haven't named any of them. I think one of them has a name because one of my friends named it. And I think the name was Gregory.
Nice. Solid name.
Very solid name.
I haven't named any of the others.
I like the name Gregory because if you are talking fast, you can shorten it to Greg. I think that's
or you just say Gregory.
Gregory.
the two syllable. Yeah. You got the 2 syllable, the 1 syllable.
Wow.
That's
the
so 3
versatile.
syllable. Yeah, it's great. Maybe they're all Gregory.
We're all Gregory here.
It's just a collective. A plant
collective hive mind of Gregory.
Yeah.
Hashtag we are all Gregory.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I think that'll be it. I think we just named them all right now.
Perfect.
They're all named Greg.
Greg, I hope you're all having a great life. A Greg life, if you will.
Oh, fuck. Right off.
There'll be a little sound effect there. If you've listened to the Joseph episode, you know what I'm talking about. Ash, I have a question for you that we ask all of our D&D friends, because I love hearing people's stories, especially when they're involved in D&D. And this might be hard for you because you've been playing D&D for quite a while. But what is your favorite D&D memory?
My favorite D&D memory?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And do not worry, Hayden and I will provide some more. We need to stop having D&D friends on the pod because we're going to quickly run out of D&D memories.
I don't think I ever will. I have so many locked and loaded from campaigns that I've run, campaigns that I've been in. So while Ash thinks, I'll go first. And so I was in a campaign on Zoom through Roll20. This was during COVID times. And my friend Spencer, he crafted this amazing, I think it was supposed to be a one shot originally, but then it just kind of snowballed into like a little like mini series.
Mhm.
It was fucking incredible. So it was set during like the war, like I'm pretty sure we were in Germany or something like that, and we were fighting Nazis.
Oh.
And our mission was to kill Hitler. And
Excellent.
Perfect.
And so we just like, we're these D&D characters, like canonically in the D&D, you know, the Forgotten Realms. And then we are sucked into a portal of some sort, or I think maybe we just woke up or something like that. Anyway,
Wait.
not really super important.
So your medieval fantasy characters
In World War
Nazi
II.
Germany
Are thrust into Nazi Germany. Yes.
Amazing. Perfect. I love it.
It was so much fucking fun. And I cannot imagine how much time Spencer put into this. It must have taken just far too long. I don't know how he did it. He's amazing. So there's one point where we are in this lake, and then so a little bit of backstory on this story.
I don't know how much backstory Nazi Germany needs, but please continue.
No. I mean, in regards to our characters. So we hijacked a couple of tanks, and we were like, okay, we're in this tank. We have to get onto that boat, and then we have to take the boat across the lake to Hitler's big base so that we can kill him. Okay, easy. So how are we going to do this?
Simple enough.
So we drove the tank onto the boat because we didn't want to give up the tank.
Fair. It's a tank.
I don't remember the exact logistics of how we got this tank onto the boat, but it doesn't matter. We did it. We did it somehow. So then the tank actually ended up being quite pivotal to our success because we were like in the middle of the lake. We were like, man, this is great. Like, we just like totally ransacked that whole outpost of Nazis. We killed them all. It was awesome. And now we have this tank on a boat. Like, we're just thriving right now. And then this fucking Nazi octopus, this big mechanic octopus comes out of the water and attacks us. And it's being piloted by these Nazis. It was,
the government doesn't want you to know about the big Nazi octopus, but they were quite a problem in World War II.
It was fucking incredible. It was amazing. I have Josh, when you edit this, I'm going to send you a picture so you can put it. Like, I have a picture.
Perfect.
A screenshot of this
perfect
Nazi octopus.
I'm looking forward to seeing this, honestly.
For our audio listeners, basically what it is he on Roll20 you can like put different things on different parts of the map, and so he just dragged this. You can like clip stuff, so he just dragged this shit onto the screen, and it was just this massive. Okay, our boat was pretty big. Okay, like I'm talking. This thing is at least, it might even be gigantic. It was so big. It was fucking huge, and he just drags it onto screen. And for those audio listeners, here's what it is. So the head is sticking out of the water, and it's these two big transparent red eyes. That's where like the control room is. And so that's the head like sticking out of the water. And then there's these like 8 like mechanical appendages, and they all have a little armband on them with swastikas.
Oh no.
And
why did they
like every single,
they really want to drive home the point.
Yeah.
A Nazi octopus.
Yeah. Every single arm of the octopus had a Nazi armband. And yeah, like I said,
we're at least half of the arms like doing the salute as it was coming out of the water. Because that just adds to the comedy.
My memory is not that concrete, but I would have to look at the picture. But this thing was just a visual masterpiece, let me tell you. And he even had the details down to where he had like, you could visually see the pilots inside the big eyes of the Nazi
I
octopus.
honestly don't know how I would react to seeing that just get dragged onto the screen. I think I would just lose my fucking mind.
We definitely had to take a break. Like he was like, roll initiative, and we were like, whoa.
Against
just-
what exactly?
No.
I'm gonna need a minute to process this.
it was more like he dragged it on the screen. We were like, what the fuck is that? And then he was like, oh, don't worry, it's just a little thing, roll initiative. And we were like, whoa, wait a sec, hold the fucking
A little thing,
just
you say.
hold
I
the
see
fuck on.
I see 8 Nazi armbands. This is not some little thing, sir.
We legitimately took a snack break. I was like, I'm not drunk enough for this. I went and I grabbed a White Claw immediately. And
there ain't no laws when there's White Claws.
That's right. And yeah, so that's the story of how we fought a gigantic mechanical octopus, Nazi octopus, in the middle of a lake
delightful.
On our way to go kill Hitler. So
somebody should have just told your characters that Hitler kills himself. Problem solved.
We didn't. It wasn't about that.
You gotta head him off
a message. It's about sending a message.
You gotta head him off at the pass.
So actually, from that campaign, I'm gonna go on another side tangent. This campaign was so prolific in our friend group that our DM actually had a T-shirt made, and the T-shirt depicts one of the characters from the campaign. It was Aaron's character, Aaron, that was on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He played a turtle named Throckmorton. And
amazing.
While Josh, you tell a story, or maybe Ash, and then I have this shirt right here. I'll go grab it real quick, and I'll show you. And then for the audio listeners, I'll describe it when I have it in my hands.
Perfect. Ash, do you have your story ready, or do you want me to?
I think I got one.
All right.
It's not super long or complicated or anything. And I won't go into crazy details. Because I think it's mostly just this entire campaign was really good. And it's not technically Dungeons and Dragons, but
that's fine. But
yeah,
we should rename it to your favorite TTRPG like memory.
But I'm
definitely looking into playing some like Pathfinder.
Oh yeah,
version 2.
You know what we got to do? Speaking of, I'm gonna plug this awesome game. We should get together and play some Blades in the Dark sometime.
Yeah, I'm always down to learn new systems.
It's a cool system.
What is that exactly?
So Blades in the Dark basically is kind of like it's like a heist game, effectively. And so it's have either of you played Dishonored?
No, but I've wanted to.
So I mean, you're aware
of it.
You're aware of the, like, you know, steampunk Elizabethan dark nasty plague city.
Amazing.
With ghosts and supernatural stuff, right? Basically it's that. And so you're criminals and you run a gang in the city. But the thing that's nice about it is that, like, every session you play is a full heist. So like basically, like, when you get together to play, it's like, okay, who can make it? And then whoever can make it just goes on the heist, and whoever doesn't does downtime activities, because it's a gang of criminals, you know, they can't all be available all the time.
Yeah.
So
I got things to do.
Yeah. It's
got things game to do. Jerry's got ballet lessons. Like, what? I gotta be
there. Anyway, so my favorite memory, I think, this post-apocalyptic campaign that we played using Cortex. I think I've talked to you about this, Josh.
I think I might know this one.
Yeah. Oh man, I think my favorite memory of it was probably. So it started out, and basically we just, like, made these characters. They're basically complete normies, or at least they were supposed to be. A couple of our members made people who were a little more competent, but that's okay. But basically we, like, you know, it was kind of like Fallout, where, like, they had there were emergency bunkers, and so we got evacuated to one of those, and then, like, we exited the bunker like 3 months later because basically the bunker was running low on supplies. So they started lotterying people where like, okay, it's your turn to leave because we don't have the supplies to keep you alive. So bye. And so we all got lotteried out, and we have to survive, you know, in the apocalypse world. And so it was really cool because, you know, you had to like keep track of all your like equipment doodads, and you had to be real creative at problem solving because you're like, oh, well, I picked up this weird, you know, chunk of that bombed out car. So maybe we can use it using this thing to like, anyway, I love stuff like that. So, so we're doing our best to survive, and we end up making it to the city, and we're trying to like find, you know, people's families and find supplies to survive and all this stuff. And a lot of people in the group have reason to go to this city, and so we go there, and we make it there, and we're camped out in this house. And basically one of the people who was a biker was like, well, there's like my biker gang has like a clubhouse here, so we could go across town and see if there's any like guns and supplies and stuff like left over. And at this point, like, we'd encountered some raiders, we'd seen some like scary military people like going around, so we were like not sure how safe it was to just like walk around or try to drive around in the city. We're like what do we do? And we're like, okay, well, we'll take the subway. Like, the trains don't work, but like we could go down there and it should be safe because it's dark and it's a tunnel. So why would anybody ever be using these tunnels? Like, and if they are using the tunnels, we'll see the light and we just know not to go that way. Easy. So so we all sneak down into this subway, and we're like walking along, and this was like the moment in the campaign. I just remember like we were in like my friend's like kind of shitty basement apartment at the time that's like kind of dank and dim, and like he's really got the audio ambience like dialed in, like it's really spooky. And we're like, well, it's not really that spooky actually. It's just kind of like, you know, there's like the dripping and like the like overall like hum of being in a tunnel, you know, that like wind sound. And so he's just got the ambience real dialed in, and there's not really any music. And like we're not super spooked because at this point like we're expecting to run into like a gang of like raiders, in, you know, like guys with guns. We're gonna have a shootout in this tunnel, you know, it's gonna be dramatic because there's not gonna be light or like whatever, but like so we're going along in the tunnel, and we see like a flicker of light up ahead. And so we all stop, you know, and we all like duck down, and we're like waiting there, and we're hearing like the sound of like wood like getting like jumbled around, like something's moving around up in the tunnel, but it's like dark and we can't see. So one of the people like pulls out a road flare and like lights it and throws it down the tunnel to like see what it is. And we see this like there's like a little tiny like black figure like hunched over in the tunnel, and when the light gets lit, it like turns and faces towards the light, and it's got this like really freaky, like he showed this picture of these like big like bug-eyed pale eyes and like this creepy little black body, and he had like just snuck in like a little bit of creepy music like right at the right time. And so the flare flies down the tunnel, and we're like, what the fuck is this? And then he describes it like stretching out and its limbs getting really long, and it like jumps on the flare and eats it. And so we're like plunged back into darkness, but all we can see down the tunnel is like the little bit of flickering light from the thing's face as it's like shoving the flare down its mouth. And then the light goes out, and we're in the dark with whatever this thing is. And then he has us roll initiative. And I just remember that encounter was like spine chill. Like the lead up to that encounter was like absolutely spine chilling. And then like the actual fight was terrifying because Cortex is like a really deadly system. Like, like it's not uncommon in Cortex where like if something goes poorly in a fight, like your character gets shot and they just instantly die because like you don't have a lot of HP. And so if someone like rolls a critical hit on you or whatever, like you might just take enough damage to instantly die.
Oh my God.
So like so we were like, you know, we had been fighting people and almost getting killed by normal people. And so the fact that like this huge monster thing is like sprinting down the tunnel at us, shrieking, like trying to eat us, like we just didn't know, like, you know, we have like guns and stuff and we shot it and it didn't die immediately, because normally like in Cortex when you shoot something it usually dies.
Yeah.
And so we're like all just like losing our minds and shooting this thing hoping that it's gonna die, and it manages to like make it up the tunnel, and like it takes out the biker dude, it takes out our like ex-marine like medic guy, like and it's like charging up on my character, and I managed to roll a really lucky shot with like my character was like just fresh out of high school and was just this like fucking shitty snot-nosed kid.
Mhm.
And like basically had been like bitching and moaning about not being given a gun like the whole first chunk of the campaign. So they finally gave my character a gun. Like, thank God. And I managed to like dome this thing right as it like came up on me and killed it. But like, and we all managed to live, but like the game was just not the same after that, because it was like we're no longer safe. We thought this was just a normal post-apocalyptic campaign, and now there's weird mutants.
Nowhere is
not
safe.
Okay. Nowhere is safe.
Holy shit.
Oh my God. I do remember you telling me that story. It's still good though. I love that story. I have a couple pretty quick memories real quick. One is from a game that I DM'd. It was like a homebrew game, and I had like 5 players, I think, in it. I had Becca, Quinn, Lauren, Joseph, and our friend John.
John.
And John was playing gunslinger character, because I had in my homebrew world I had like guns and all that jazz, because guns are fun to add into D&D. Why not? But and they got to a point in the campaign where they pretty much like had like such a status that they had like a manor in like a city. And John's character pretty much ended up, for those who have watched Critical Role, he pretty much had like the same sort of skill set as Percy in Critical Role. He had like blacksmithing proficiency and all that jazz. And so like there's a forge that was like attached to this manor and everything that they had installed afterwards. And the last session that he was a part of, he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go out to the forge and like start like crafting like some bullets and like all that. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then he had to like unexpectedly, he just had to like not be in that campaign anymore. So to this day, I always just imagine that his character is just pounding away, still making bullets, still doing that like this whole time, just years after.
He has become a Skyrim NPC.
He has become a Skyrim NPC. In my other memory, I talked about the campaign, like this campaign that our friend Lauren ran. And this memory is from the final session of that campaign. So pretty much for those who remember me telling this, there was pretty much like this evil thing that I put in my first character's like eye socket that like became like this really freaky silver skeleton that like pretty much like was wearing my character as like a skin suit more or less, and then just like threw that away when it got like attacked by the rest of the party. And yeah, real spooky. Lauren is a glutton for body horror and stuff like that, and it makes all of his campaigns really freaky but really fun. We just started a new campaign and he hasn't introduced any body horror yet, so I'm very scared for when that happens the first time. But pretty much the final session was like 13 hours, because he was going down to like, he was leaving for Los Angeles the week after, and he was like, we need to finish this or else I'm going to be upset. And we were all like, that's fair, we want to finish this too, we want to like finish out like these like this story and everything. Obviously I was playing a new character by that time. He had like this homebrew race that was like sort of like Minotaur in like appearance and stature. They were just bull people. And I was playing War Domain cleric of that race. And pretty much we were defending this city from an attack from like this other army, and this other army had enlisted that fucking silver skeleton somehow into their ranks, or that silver skeleton somehow convinced them to attack this major city. And so the final session was us like commanding these different like armies at like different points of entry. At one point, their side unleashed like a fucking like phoenix like god creature or something, and we had picked up like this dragon egg earlier that Becca's character had been holding on to because she was a dragonborn, like a dragon soul sorcerer or whatever. So she felt like connected to the egg and was like, I must protect this, it's my baby. And once that phoenix thing like showed up, we had our own like, we pretty much had like a kaiju battle over this city with like the dragon like hatched and became like a god, like a dragon god against this phoenix god. And Lauren like was like, okay, we need to do a quick pause here because I have to grab new minis. And he had us like control the dragon god against the phoenix god. And like we were rolling just stupid amounts of d6 per hit. Like we were doing hundreds of points of damage per hit. And the final hit, because we were just passing like the d20 around to let each person roll, and Quinn was the last person to roll, and he rolled a crit. And so I think normally it was doing like 50 d6 damage. So this like final attack did 100 d6 damage plus other modifiers, other stupid modifiers that just made the damage even more ridiculous. It might have actually even been more than 50 d6.
Did you actually physically roll them?
Oh god, no. We just had like we were just like, hey Siri, roll 50 d6. Or I now thinking about it, I think it was actually much more ridiculous than that. I think it was in like the hundreds or even maybe like 200 d6 normal.
Well, I just rolled 100 d6. It was a 351.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Because our crit did over 1,000 points of damage. So yeah, it was definitely in like the 200s for normal. And he was just like, yeah, do 400 d6 damage, and you just murder this thing. And then after that, like it's like, okay, how the fuck do we top that? It's like, oh no, you like while that was happening, like the explosion from that Phoenix god really tore up most of the city and like pretty much wiped out all their army, but also wiped out quite a bit of your army. So things are looking rough. But you see the silver creature approaching from the distance. It's just hacking down your soldiers left and right. So you might want to deal with that. It's really fine. Fuck. Okay, I guess we'll go. And at that point, like we had pretty much like saved this race of people and like relocated them to like a safer place. And like they were like this nearly extinct people that had very strong like affinity to magic. But because they're all like homebrew races, his like this race, like they had a strong affinity for magic and could do magic very easily, but if they performed too much magic at once or really like stress themselves out with magic, they would explode, like literal like bomb going off explosion. And so we had been traveling with this one whose name was Coat. There were a lot of like coat puns, like can I get you your coat and shit like that, because we're assholes. But Becca's character had grown a really like solid bond with him, and they were very close, but he had gotten like like I think he'd like stay behind in one of the cities that we traveled to, because we were like, no, dude, you should not be anywhere near this combat when this happens. And the Silver Skeleton guy found him and took him over. And we did know that he was in trouble because I had tried to scry the Skelly guy, be like, okay, I know, like, you guys have given me a description of this guy, like, let me, like, do you have anything that will make this easier? And they still had like parts of my clothing from my first character, and they're like, would this help? And I was like, okay, I'll try and scry with that. And I was able to find him, and like we saw that he was capturing Coat, and we were like, oh fuck, this is bad. So he like possessed Coat's body and everything. So we are fighting our old friend, who is now being possessed by a super magical like entity, and therefore Coat is overloading on magic and like about to explode. And so we're like, okay, just get him as far from the city as possible. And Becca's character is like, I'm gonna go, because like if like he's gonna die, then I'm gonna die with him. I, the cleric, am like, I can't let anyone die on my watch, so I cast Death Ward on her. And she like goes out into this field with like her dear friend and everything, and it explodes. And like I don't think like we all, I knew what Death Ward did because I read like the description. But I think Lauren forgot what Death Ward did and Becca did. Because Lauren was just like, yeah, and you see Mara just in like a pile on the ground, just like in a crate, like Yamcha in a crater. And I was like, but she does have Death Ward. And Becca's like, oh great, so I just get up and I am depressed because my best friend died in my arms, but I didn't. You're an asshole, Josh. And I'm like, I'm a cleric, I saved you, what do you mean?
Holy shit.
But it was really fun narrative thing, because if we had continued that campaign, that leveled us up to level 14, and therefore like Becca as like a dragon soul sorcerer would have had wings. So like it could have narratively been like, yeah, you exploded and you like gained wings from that, and now you have a flight speed, so you're welcome.
Jeez Louise.
Holy shit.
The fucking end of that campaign was wild as hell. It was so much fun though. Oh my god.
D&D is good.
D&D is the best storytelling device.
Fuck, man. D&D is good. Here's that shirt now that everyone's forgotten about it. It's you probably can't see it, but it says Throckmorton, because his whole shtick was that he would yell his name in battle.
He like amazing.
And he had this like
play a turtle so bad.
And he had like this accent, like for some reason. So he was always like Throckmorton. And I don't have this on record, but I'm pretty sure that the turtle depicted on the shirt is literally the turtle that Spencer drew for the campaign, like the little like thing that was like actually literally on the token that was on Roll20. I'm pretty sure he just like dragged and dropped it to the t-shirt.
Nice.
Oh, speaking of, so you know how D&D parties tend to adopt goblins?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Well,
goblins,
I was playing D&D on Monday, and my Dragonborn Barbarian managed to adopt 5 goblins. Because
okay, Batman, calm down.
We found out basically we're in this tunnel and there's drow slavers, and we ended up like killing this like drow priestess, and there was a bunch of like enslaved people there, and there was like some goblins that were like clearly also slaves. And we had like already talked to the other slaves, and we're like, okay, we're gonna free you, like we'll lead you to the exit. And we were like probably not supposed to like engage with the goblins, because he was like making a point about how twitchy and like kind of scary they were. And also nobody in the party like speaks, like most of the people in the party speak like Elven and Draconic and like you know, all this stuff. So I speak orc. I'm the only person in the party who speaks orc. And so I went over to the goblins and I was like, hey guys, here's the deal. We're gonna kill a bunch of these elves. Do you want to come help us? And one of them happened to speak orc, and his name was Liverkill. And so Liverkill was like, yes. So basically, I unlocked Liverkill, gave him a shiv, and was like, "All right, you tell the rest of these boys that I'm your new chief. Like,
I'm your dad now.
Like, I'm your dad now. I'll keep you alive. You're gonna help us kill these elves." And they all started getting really hyped up. And then I started asking their names, and I was like, "All right, Liverkill, who's this?" And he's like, "That's Big Toe." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, "Who's this?"
God.
And he's like, 1 second, I gotta get my notebook. I don't remember the fucking names.
Love goblins so much. They're little shitheads, but I love them.
It'll be worth it. The payoff from these names. Okay, so I'm like, who's that? He's like, Ear Chewer. And I'm like, okay, so we got Liverkill, Big Toe, and Ear Chewer. And he's like, who's that? Plamonius Ratfink.
Amazing.
And that was the point when I was like looking at Riley and I was like, he's running out of names. Like the moment he said Plamonius Ratfink, he like did that little the DM pause like right before he said it, where he's like Plamonius Ratfink, you know. And I'm just like, okay, we're getting he's really scraping the bottom of the barrel for these names. Like, and I'm like,
we got one more.
And I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna make him come up with it. And I'm like, what about that one? What's his name? And he goes, Piss Drink.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So now I'm gonna kill everybody if Piss Drink dies.
Piss Drink must be
Piss Drink must be protected at all costs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I need to keep Liverkill alive long enough for him to teach Orc to Piss Drink so that I can speak with Piss Drink.
Yes, please. Ash, you need to transfer those names to Blood Bowl too.
Oh, actually, speaking of, I have a list of Blood Bowl names for when my orcs inevitably die. If you want to hear some
from my ogres, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I would love to hear a few. Please.
Okay, I'm just gonna give you the best ones, I think.
Okay. The best hits.
I really like Slambonius Fuck Thrust.
Yep. Amazing.
Scrocaticus Binks.
Scrocaticus Binks? Any relation to Jar Jar there?
I mean, that is where I got it from. I've got a name for a replacement goblin. It's Pingus Wingus.
Nice. Perfect.
I got Dilt Differently.
Dilt Differently.
Built different.
I've got Fapu Notep. Mahektep Makakin.
Good. That's
Macaulay Culkin?
No, Mahektep Makakin. Cholo Pacholo. Cheesered Moist Flesh. Blabasac Pussard.
Okay.
Big Tholomew Jonathan.
Big Tholomew. I'm like Bartholomew, but big.
Yeah. Rip Lord Tide Pod. Fankus Chad Blast. And then my two favorites are Sagcephius Bachumba and the number one best name, which is definitely going to be the replacement the moment someone dies, is Chewy Haha Pohobarak.
What the fuck is going on?
For those who don't know, in Blood Bowl, you can name all your characters, but you can't put any like swear words or anything like that in their name. But if you just make the swear word, if you put the swear word and you just mash something in on the end of it, it's fine.
Yep, it's true.
System will pick it up. So if you name somebody Shit Boy Piss Pants, you just put those names together.
Put them all together.
And it's fine. That's gonna be one of my new Nobblers names.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh, here. Actually, this might be a good Nobbler name. Stahebus Fuckknuckle.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. This has been a great episode.
I have no fucking clue what's going on, but I'm loving every second of it.
I don't understand a word you said, but hell yeah, man, I'm gonna speak my truth.
Yeah. Holy shit. Oh, I need to watch Blood Bowl.
You need to play Blood Bowl.
True.
Hey man, season 3 is starting next week. You still have time. You could get in on it.
How long is the season?
4 weeks, 3 weeks. That's gonna be starting close for Hayden.
I think it's 4 weeks. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it, bud.
Ah, dang.
He will deploy
Next
Yeah.
season.
I have deployment.
Deploy man.
That's me.
Anywho.
Deployment.
Anywho.
We still have a few more questions, but I think we're good. I think this episode.
Let's wait. No. I know how we close this out. We got to speed run these questions. I will speed run these questions super fast.
Well, I think we only have 2.
Perfect.
And then you get to ask us a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first question, it's kind of tying back into D&D. How did you get into D&D?
My dad in 3rd grade, he did a campaign about dwarves killing orcs for me and my friends.
Heck
Nice.
yeah.
What's your
I said the word
muse?
again.
What's your muse musically?
I sit at the piano and then I just mash notes until I find something that I like. That's my muse. Honestly.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I love that
Smash your
answer.
forehead against the keyboard.
I literally just face roll against a piano until I'm like, that was nice.
Let's recreate it now.
Okay, now we'll do our segment we like to call Uno Reverse Card, where you get to ask us questions. So go for it.
Okay. If you were gonna pick one instrument to play, which instrument would you guys pick?
Oh fuck.
I'd pick guitar. That way I could play Wonderwall at every occasion.
Yep, that tracks.
Tracks.
Hayden, you can't pick guitar now.
Haha.
I was afraid you were gonna say that because I was definitely gonna say guitar. Oh, okay. I would say no. I was gonna say piano, but then I like had the instant thought enter my mind that like, fuck no, you can't play piano. You're a dumbass. So
But
I'm,
No. If you could.
Oh, if I could, piano.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Solid choice.
That's definitely like my second option would be piano.
Or maybe drums.
Drums are good.
Piano's just handy for like learning like how like just sheet music for like how things are like sung and everything too. So like that would just be handy really.
It's real good for recording too.
Yeah, but Wyatt already plays the drums, so I'm gonna stick with piano. Because we're making a band.
You're making a band.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already got a band. If we got piano, guitar, drums, and bass, we got a band.
Boom.
Yeah. And then, you're taking voice lessons. You can be the front man.
Josh can be the front man. He plays guitar.
No, that'll be like our thing. Like that sets us apart.
Oh, we gotta have a bass player. We're gonna be Fallout Boy.
Yeah, we're gonna be Fallout Boy. Or Pete Wentz is the.
Pete Wentz is hot. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, it's back.
It's the outro.
It's the outro music.
Outro time. So while Ash plays this outro, please follow Ash on all the social medias. They'll be linked down below. Please follow us on all the social medias. They'll also be linked down below. And
you know
remember,
how to get into the giveaway entry, yada yada.
well, I think we said that last time, so we should remind them.
Nah, they know it. They
What
know
if I
it at this
what if
point.
I just spit it real quick?
Spit it?
Okay,
Get
so
it,
you can go
get
on
it,
Instagram
get
and
it.
comment on our Instagram post for each post that we post for the episode. You can go on Twitter and you can quote tweet our announcement of an episode. You can leave a review on Apple or you can leave a review on Google. And you can also leave a YouTube comment if you're watching on YouTube. That's it. Have a great day. Have a great night. We love you. Bye. Thank you, Ash, for coming. Ash is the best. Ash is the best. And this was a great episode. Okay, bye. What? Look, I gotta get something. I gotta air my grievances. Okay, I gotta get something off my chest. Before we hit the record button, Ash said something, and it was absolutely unacceptable. He said the H word.
This asshole said heck.
I did.
Josh, oh my God, you just said it.
What?
Josh, you just said it.
I'm so sorry. I said heck.
Oh shit! Now we have to cut this.
If
the
we
whole
were being
episode is
monetized,
ruined.
it's demonetized now.
The whole episode's ruined. What are we gonna do?
Hundreds of dollars thrown away.
We might as well just cancel the whole podcast.
Our sponsorship with Audi is going down the drain now.
Wait, why would a car company sponsor a podcast?
Because it's nice to listen to in the car.
Capitalism.
Oh, okay, that tracks. That makes sense.
Well, this has been quite the cut that we're gonna have to put
A
at
little
the end.
interlude.
This has been quite the interlude. Welcome everybody to more. Okay.
Well, I have a question.
Do you want to? Okay.
Just to before we get started, officially,
yeah.
Should I like not say anything until you introduce me? Is that how this works? Do I like pretend like I'm not here and then you guys do the intro and then I'm like, hi, it's me, I'm here.
So what we actually do is this like little interlude. We actually like cut it into the end like a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, they have to go through the credits and then they get this bonus at the end.
They get some bonus, that sweet bonus content that they're all craving for.
Yeah,
all dozen of them.
But since we've already had this interlude for like a few minutes now, why don't you just?
Hour, I think.
Yeah, why don't you? I think it'd be funny, so I'm just gonna let it happen. See it like how you do with it. Ash, why don't you go ahead and try to do an intro? Just see what happens.
Oh God, intro to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
That sounds like a great intro. I think we're ready to go.
Perfect.
Okay, wait, hold up. I got it.
Okay. Oh.
As I punch my microphone.
I was like, it sounded like random like staticky noises. I was like, oh God, he disconnected his microphone. He's just giving up.